Today's mindful moment. Forget those goody two-shoes heroines.
Right.
We're diving into a character who makes Machiavelli look like a Boy Scout. Nesta Archeron from Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Silver Flames.
Yeah.
Prepare yourself.
Something else.
She's a masterclass in surviving trauma.
Definitely.
But the way she bends the world to her, well, let's just say it might break her in the process.
It's what makes her so captivating.
Right.
Maas takes this strong female character trope and turns it into something entirely new.
It really is something different.
She is strong, undoubtedly, but it's a strength forged in the fires of trauma. And it comes out in ways that are, less than conventional.
Our source material for this deep dive is excerpts from the novel itself. We're going to unpack Nesta's journey from a traumatized human to a fey warrior wrestling with power that's both terrifying and seductive. Imagine Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
But the Beast is a woman battling inner demons, far more menacing than any external threat. And it all starts with a brutal loss. The excerpts describing Nesta's reaction to her father's death.
Yeah.
It's chilling. She retreats into silence.
Yeah.
But you can feel this undercurrent of rage, like a volcano about to erupt.
It's crucial to remember that this isn't just teenage angst. She witnessed her father's murder.
Oh, yeah, this is...
That kind of trauma seeps into your soul. For Nesta, it manifests as this profound fear of vulnerability.
Makes sense.
A desperate need for control in a world that's spinning out of control.
Which makes her forced transformation into a fae all the more jarring.
For sure.
His power is thrust upon her, but instead of embracing it, she sees it as a curse. It's like she's been handed a loaded weapon and told to fight, when all she wants is to run and hide.
That's such a powerful image, and it speaks to the core of Nesta's struggle. She's fighting against this intrinsic part of herself, this power that she both resents and perhaps secretly craves. Then there's the cauldron.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other thing.
The book is intentionally vague about this encounter, but one thing is clear. It left its mark on Nesta, both physically and emotionally. Scars that run deeper than any blade could inflict.
This ties directly into her fear of magic. Of losing herself in something she doesn't understand. It's like she's staring into an abyss, and the abyss is staring back.
Precisely. And that fear, that vulnerability, is what makes her training montage so compelling.
That's a good point.
This isn't just about learning to fight. It's about Nesta rebuilding herself, piece by broken piece. Think those grueling physical challenges, running those endless stairs. But also the mental discipline, the sheer willpower it takes to face her demons head on.
And she has Cassian to thank for that. Or maybe curse him. He's the embodiment of tough love. A trainer who sees Nesta's potential, even when she's blinded by her own pain.
He really pushes her.
But the relationship is anything but smooth sailing. It's volatile, full of clashes and tension. Yet there's this undeniable pull between them, like magnets that both attract and repel.
It's a testament to Maas's skill as a writer that she can create such a complex dynamic. Cassian is the catalyst for Nesta's growth, pushing her to her limits, but also providing a strange sort of anchor in the chaos of her world.
And then we have the Dread Trove. These ancient artifacts are like Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Intensely powerful, potentially world-altering, and incredibly dangerous. Nesta's attempt to locate one of them, the mask, using her scrying abilities, is a major turning point. It's a raw display of her power, but it also unearths buried memories, traumas she's desperately trying to suppress.
The Dread Trove isn't just a plot device. It's a symbol of the allure and danger of power itself. Each item represents a different temptation, a different facet of control. And Nesta, with her history of trauma and her desperate need for self-preservation, is particularly vulnerable to their seductive whisper.
Yeah, you could say.
And that vulnerability is what makes her encounter with the harp so devastating. Another trove item. Imagine an instrument whose music can control reality itself. That's the harp. And Nesta is almost consumed by it. It forces her to confront the darkest parts of herself, the pain she's been burying for so long.
It's almost as if the harp is a manifestation of Nesta's own inner turmoil. The music it plays is a siren song, tempting her with the promise of control, of escape from the agony of her past. But it's a false promise, one that could shatter her beyond repair.
But it's in that near destruction that something remarkable happens. Nesta discovers a hidden strength, a resilience she never knew she possessed. She doesn't just survive the harp, she breaks free from its grasp.
And this leads to the breaking, which is so much more than just a grueling physical challenge. It's Nesta breaking through the wall she's built around her heart. confronting the trauma that's been holding her captive.
The breaking is symbolic on so many levels. It's a physical test of endurance,
Yes.
but it's also a spiritual and emotional crucible. Nesta is literally and figuratively climbing a mountain, pushing herself to the brink of exhaustion, and in doing so, she's shedding the layers of pain and self-loathing that have been weighing her down.
And it's in this moment of vulnerability, of utter exhaustion, that we see a glimmer of the woman Nesta could become. The woman who's not defined by her trauma,
Right.
but forged by it.
And this transformation is inextricably linked to her relationship with Cassian. Their love story isn't a fairy tale, it's raw, messy, passionate, but it's also incredibly healing. Cassian sees Nesta, truly sees her, and he loves her not in spite of her flaws, but because of them.
Her declaration of love for him, his willingness to die for her, these are moments of profound emotional depth, a stark contrast to the icy, closed-off Nesta we encountered at the beginning of the story.
Their love is a testament to the power of connection, of finding solace and strength in another soul who recognizes your darkness but chooses to love you anyway. It's a reminder that even the most wounded hearts can find healing, can learn to beat again with hope and vulnerability.
Now, before we move on to the symbolism embedded in this narrative,
Right.
let's take a step back and consider Nesta's relationships with her sisters, Elaine and Fere. These dynamics are fascinating because they shed light on the complexities of Nesta's character.
Elaine, the gentle, nurturing sister, serves as a foil to Nesta's fiery, rebellious nature.
Interesting.
While Elaine seems to accept her fey transformation with grace, finding solace in nature and her newfound abilities, Nesta rejects everything associated with this new world, clinging to her anger and bitterness as a shield.
It's as if Nesta sees Elaine's acceptance as a betrayal, a reminder of the life she's lost, the life she can never reclaim.
And then there's Fere, the chosen one, the savior of Prythian. The tension between Nesta and Fere is palpable. It's a simmering resentment that speaks volumes about Nesta's internal struggle.
I can see that. Fere represents everything Nesta despises about the Fey world. Power, responsibility, a destiny thrust upon her. It's a reminder of Nesta's own forced transformation, her sense of powerlessness in the face of fate.
And yet, there's a grudging respect that develops between them, a recognition that they're both survivals, both warriors in their own right. It's a complex dynamic that adds layers of depth to Nesta's character arc.
So we've got this web of relationships, this intricate interplay of trauma, power, and love. But Maas doesn't stop there. She weaves in these symbolic threads that elevate the story to a whole other level.
Exactly. And one of the most potent symbols in this narrative is the Dread Trove. It's not just a collection of powerful artifacts, it's a representation of the seductive nature of power itself. Each item embodies a different aspect of control, a different temptation that preys on Nesta's vulnerabilities.
Let's start with the mask. It's not just a physical object. It's a metaphor for the masks we all wear. The facades we project to protect ourselves from the world.
For Nesta, the mask represents her tendency to hide her true self, to project an image of coldness and indifference as a defense mechanism. It's a way of controlling how others perceive her, of keeping them at a safe distance.
But it's also a trap. The mask tempts Nesta to embrace her darker impulses, to indulge in cruelty and vengeance as a means of survival. It's a path that could easily lead her down a road of isolation and self-destruction.
And then there's the harp. Its power over reality is a reflection of Nesta's own desire for control. Remember, she spent her whole life feeling powerless, at the mercy of forces beyond her comprehension. The harp offers her the illusion of ultimate control, the ability to shape the world according to her will.
But as we see in the story, that kind of control is an illusion. The harp's music is seductive, but ultimately destructive. It's a reminder that trying to manipulate and control everything around you will inevitably lead to chaos and suffering.
And let's not forget the crown. This artifact represents the most insidious form of power, the ability to control another person's free will. It's a symbol of dominance and manipulation. It's fitting that Brylin, the main antagonist, is the one who wields it.
Makes sense. Bryalin's use of the crown highlights the dangers of unchecked power, the way it can corrupt even those with seemingly good intentions. It's a reminder that power, in the wrong hands, can be used to exploit, control, and ultimately destroy.
But it's not just the Dread Trove that holds symbolic weight. The cauldron, this ancient, sentient entity that's both a source of magic and a wellspring of trauma, plays a pivotal role in Nesta's journey.
It does. The cauldron is like a primal force of nature, capable of both creation and destruction. It represents the untamed magic that flows through Prythian, the unpredictable energy that can both heal and harm.
And Nesta's encounter with the cauldron is deeply symbolic. It represents her immersion in the raw power of her Fey heritage, the overwhelming force that nearly destroys her. It's a baptism by fire, a trial that leaves her scarred and changed forever.
But it also marks a turning point in her journey. It's through this encounter with the cauldron that Nesta begins to understand the true nature of her power, the immense responsibility that comes with wielding it. So we've explored the dread trove and the cauldron. Both of these are incredibly powerful symbols. But there's one more visual in the story that stuck with me. Those never-ending stairs that Nesta has to climb during her training. They're brutal, physically demanding, but I think they represent something much deeper. What do you think?
You're spot on. The stairs are a powerful symbol of Nesta's ascent towards self-discovery. It's a climb out of the darkness that's been consuming her, a step-by-step process of confronting her fears and embracing her true potential.
Each step she takes is a hurdle overcome, a victory over the doubt and self-loathing that have been holding her back. And it's not just about physical strength, it's about mental and emotional resilience. The stairs are a test of her willpower, her determination to break free from the chains of her past.
And it's significant that those stairs lead to the library. It's not just a random location. The library represents knowledge, enlightenment, a sanctuary where Nesta can find solace and purpose.
It's like she's literally climbing towards wisdom, seeking refuge in the stories and experiences of others. And in that process, she begins to rewrite her own narrative, to find her voice and her place in the world.
And let's not forget the recurring motif of fire. It's woven throughout the story, reflecting Nesta's passionate nature, her fierce spirit. Fire is both destructive and purifying, capable of consuming and renewing.
It's a perfect metaphor for Nesta's journey. She's consumed by her anger, her grief. But it's through those fires of adversity that she's ultimately purified. Her spirit is tempered, her resolve strengthened.
She emerges from those trials like a phoenix rising from the ashes, transformed and empowered. It's a testament to the human capacity for resilience, for finding strength in the face of unimaginable pain.
So what can we take away from all of this? What does Nesta's journey teach us about ourselves, about the world we inhabit?
Nesta's story challenges us to look beyond the surface, to delve into the complexities of human nature, to embrace the messy, imperfect beauty of our shared human experience. It's a reminder that true strength lies not in denying our vulnerabilities, but in confronting them, in acknowledging the darkness within ourselves and choosing to rise above it.
It's about finding the courage to break free from the shackles of our past, to climb our own metaphorical mountains, and to emerge from the fire, not unscathed, but stronger, wiser, and more compassionate.
And that's the beauty of A Court of Silver Flames. It's not just a fantasy novel. It's a reflection of the human condition, a testament to the enduring power of hope, love, and the indomitable spirit that resides within us all.
If you haven't already experienced this incredible story, we urge you to dive into the world of Nesta Archeron. And when you do, pay attention to those subtle details, those symbolic threads that weave together this captivating tapestry. It's a journey that will stay with you long after you turn the final page.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive,
be sure to subscribe to our channel.
We'll be exploring more amazing books and series.
And don't forget to share this episode.
And leave a comment. We'll continue to explore the hidden depths of the world around us, uncovering the shocking truth and thought-provoking insights that make life so incredibly complex and rewarding.